People deluded. Arsenal 2, Blackpool 1, and yeah, another victory, and we've got through to the next round. We're into the quarterfinals. We've handled business, and we can now put both eyes firmly on Saturday's fixture against Liverpool. But with that being said, we might as well review the player ratings, or I might as well provide my ratings for their performances. I must admit, it was an extremely below par game. Obviously, the end of the game was a bit nervous. I wouldn't even say it's no. They weren't nervous, because when we conceded and went down to 10 men, I still felt we'd win the game. Such is the level of the opposition. No disrespect to Blackpool. You guys know I don't underestimate any opposition, but every now and again you play football matches that you'd expect your club to win, regardless. So yeah. Well, a couple of stages, shaky moments for both sides. It was really a dull watch, and it really did test your love for football, essentially. So, yeah, we'll start off with Czech. I'll give him a 5. But just because he really and truly doesn't deserve to get a 4, I wouldn't pin the blame on him for the goal we conceded at all. He actually, in the build-up to the corner that happened, is the reason the whole corner. He done well to tip it over the bar. The only bad thing I can really make of his performance today was towards the end when he's trying a Cruyff Turn. I don't know why he's been watching Edison of Manchester City, or I don't know if he's feeling pressure from Leno taking his spot after his injury. But his blushes got spared because obviously Delfonso was offside. But realistically, he didn't have enough to do, or he wasn't troubled enough to get lower than a 5. So he walks away with a 5. Mustafi and probably the rest of the back four and probably some of our midfielders could have done better for the goal we've conceded. But I thought Mustafi was alright today, man. Definitely better than he played in his last outing prior to this, and the rating I gave him. So I give him a 5. Peg also, I give him a 5. Again, it's not a game where we conceded a goal because of switching off at set pieces. But on a general basis, we were dominating the game. Their side was more or less camped in our half. And the centre-halves and defenders really had nothing to do of note. Obviously, they had stuff to do, but you get the point, people. So it was a good, competent debut from him. I felt he stepped out when he could. He didn't try too tough with the passes. He kept it cushy and stuff. And he just kept it calm. So, yeah, he could walk away with a 5. And at 21 years of age now, Mavropanos, if Mavropanos wasn't injured, he'd probably have played. But 21 years of age, a fellow Spaniard in Unai Emery is the manager. Clearly, he's got some show of faith in you because you played in the Carabao Cup when we're resting centre-half. So I assume you take part in training sessions. Kind of now or never, and based on that game, if you play never again for the next 5 months for Arsenal at first team level, at least Unai Emery knows there's a degree of that there's a degree of trust from you've given Unai Emery now because you put in a good performance. You didn't do anything, so he can walk away with a 5, man. Do you know what? I'll give him a 6, man. I feel generous. Give him a 6. He's made he must have made 50, 60 under 23 appearances. He's been on a couple loan spells, and he's had to be patient for his debut. So I'll give him a 6, man. Unfortunately, it's guys like him I feel sorry for that ain't done nothing wrong, particularly that never got a clean sheet. If I watch the goal again, like I said, the whole of the defence probably could have done better, but maybe I attribute something to him. But with seeing the game once over, people, he gets a 5. Jenkinson, I never thought this, but he gets a 6. You guys know I'm a fair man. I play it fair when it's due. He shouldn't be at the club. He should have been sold, and it's a sign of, to a degree, Arsenal's years of mediocrity. The fact that he has outlasted a lot of players, and he's still under contract for another year or so. But based on today, playing at left back out of position, he was involved in the goal. I felt he bombed. I wouldn't say bombed, but he worked hard down his flank defensively and offensively. That's all you can ask for. I think he did his thing. For his lack of ability and whether I believe he should be at the club or not, he had a good performance. And at least one thing you can kind of say with Jenkinson is that whether you believe he's played terrible or not, he grew up an Arsenal fan, so he's trying his best. So he gets a 6, man. I also liked how he made a couple smart fouls that he got away with by the ref as well. And it's been 2 or 3 years since we've last seen Jenkinson in a Arsenal first team shirt. I mean, I remember one of your last performances when Lucas Moura of Spurs now was out jumping you to headers in the Champions League when we were in it. But based on today, 6, man. I don't know, man. I was on point. I was on point or on course to give Matteo Guendouzi a 7, people. But after the sending off, I'm gonna put it. At 4 would be me forcing it. I'll give him a 5 now, people. He was involved in a goal. He obviously got the assist for Lichtstein. Lovely pass. I did think it was a shot at first, but it's a lovely pass. I felt he was, again, one of the players. Even Ramsey had a good game, in my opinion. Ramsey was on stuff in the first half, in my opinion. They looked to make things happen. And, yeah, I felt he done all right. But obviously, he got sent off. The second yellow is a harsh yellow, but he's given... I do believe... obviously, I don't think he should have got sent off, but... he's given the ref a decision. He has pulled the man back. It's a harsh second yellow, and you would think the ref would warn you not to do that again. But you've given the ref the decision. Some refs just, quite frankly, people, pardon my language, are pricks. You've given him the decision. You've pulled him. It looked like it was instinctive, but you've pulled him now. Now, I don't think if you get sent off in the Cagliari, you can't play in the Premier League, but I can't be sure. So if he's ruled out of the Liverpool game, and forgive me if I'm wrong, people, it would be a silly act for you to get sent off, really, in a game where we would have won, in my opinion, regardless of who went out there. So he can walk away with a 5. I'll give Ramsey a 5 as well. One of his better games. Ironically, playing in a deeper midfield sort of role today than he hardly is at Arsenal's first team level when we're playing proper matches. I felt he done alright today. On another day, he might have scored. I felt he tried to make things happen. He did frustrate me at times. It wasn't a perfect performance, but I felt he definitely in the first half, he looked like he was going to make something happen, if anything. Not the only one, but you get the point. So a 5. Mkhitaryan along with Welbeck, I believe they both get 4s in my opinion, man. I'll give them both 4s. Welbeck was extremely anonymous today. Eddie Nketiah must be getting vexed, man. Obviously, he has to be patient and things like that. He finally gets called up to the first team after not being on the Europa League bench and them things. You would have thought you would have got minutes today. Alright, cool, you didn't. Welbs has been in good form at first team level on the scoring front. But if I was him on the bench, I'd have been going mad inside. Like, just give me a chance. The last time I got a real chance at this level, I banged in 2 goals at this stadium. Give me a chance. Welbs really was extremely anonymous, and this is what makes giving Welbs, or possibly giving Welbs, a tough decision to give him a new contract, because at games like Blackpool he'll be anonymous, but there'll be games where he puts in a good shift defensively and offensively to a degree. Mkhitaryan's got one of the best technically gifted footballers in the club at the moment. There's not much he can't do if you give him a football, but you want to see a bit more. Too many games are passing him by. I'm not saying you need to play like Ronaldinho today. I just didn't see anything of note. I like Mkhitaryan, and he's on big wages as well, so we're going to have to utilise him and get our money's worth for as long as his prime years continue. But yeah, man, he gets a 4, man. He was involved. For me, it's weird because he was more lively. He was livelier in the early state exchange of the games, and for me, he was around in patches, but he really became anonymous. So the pair of them in Welbs and Mkhitaryan get a 4. I'll give Emil a 7. I mean, he's playing in front of his home fans. I'm sure he scored in the Europa League, but it weren't at the Emirates. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Scored in front of the Emirates. Standing ovation when he got subbed. It's a nice touch for the 18-year-old who's on the cusp of the first team. He's the 19th man on a regular basis when we're travelling or in our Premier League matchday squads. So for those of you who don't know what that means, it's an 18-man match squad. If God forbid if someone falls ill, gets injured or something, he takes up that space. He's been on the bench in the Premier League, so he's on the cusp of the first team, and this is what he's got to do. His chances when they come, he's got to take it. Oh yes, it's a League One side, and he actually played quite well against Blackpool when he met them last year under 18s level. But this is all he can do, and you'd like to think with Ramsey, the new news, if you could say it, of sorts, was revealed today that they've explained to him why he won't get a new deal. You'd think Emil is one of them that could take his position or be moulded into that sort of role to take a spot up like that. So he gets a 7. Maitland-Niles, I felt in the first half, he was one of them trying to make things happen, and it was nice to see him back on the pitch. He got some good 60-odd minutes under his belt, or however long it was until he got subbed. So I'll give him a 5, man. A bit more than that's a bit OTT. You could say 6, but yeah. It was a flat game, like I said, and throughout because of the lack of quality from Blackpool and the rotations in the side from us. But yeah, the likes of Iwobi, Aubameyang, and Lucas Torreira, I feel in the minutes they came off the bench, they didn't really have time to do anything of note to give them a realistic rating. Anything else, I'll just be sitting here and forcing it to you guys. So yeah, that's my player ratings in regards to the 2-1 victory over Blackpool. So I've got nothing more to say, but yeah, man, people, DG, I'm out, man. Thank you very much.